Gregg Popovich just 2 games away possibly from a cup final in his first season. Manchester United take on a league struggling side in Bournemouth next. Well, just like the Premier League matchup, it's a pretty much case of David versus Goliath here, with Manchester United taking on Bournemouth in the first leg of the semi-final of the Carabao Cup here at Old Trafford tonight. It's wet, as you would expect in this part of the world, I suppose. It is kind of winter time, and again, just like the FA Cup match against Brentford, Coach Popovich isn't really taking any chances. In the other semi-final yesterday, Watford have all but booked their place in the final already. High-flying Watford could either face Bournemouth or Manchester United in the final of the Carabao Cup, unless Derby County make a miraculous comeback. Don't forget, they won that match, Watford, by 4 goals to 1, so it probably will take some doing. Coach Popovich brings out David De Gea back in goal with Valencia, Jones, Lindelof and Luke Shaw. The midfield is, of course, with Carrick and Young, Henwood and Carrick rather, the real experienced people, with Young and Mkhitaryan on either side. Paul Pogba is behind Romelu Lukaku. Marcus Rashford makes the bench. Eddie Howe's Bournemouth side, Begovic is in goal. Evita, the captain, is with Cook and Axel with Tony Mings, I think. It's Pugh and Arter with Cook, another Cook, with Ryan Fraser. Callum Wilson is behind Jermaine Defoe as usual up front. Jermaine Defoe in a real resurgent year, believe it or not, and he makes the bench. It's a late push towards an England call-up for World Cup year, obviously. Well, somewhat the life and blood of this team in a way. Taking this corner, Mkhitaryan, 1-0. And Bournemouth were caught absolutely cold. Mkhitaryan, that's one of the easiest goals he will score in his career, no doubt about it. And it's another goal for Mkhitaryan, isn't it? A man linked with Arsenal. It doesn't look like he's going anywhere, and the Bournemouth defenders just absolutely nowhere near it. That's such a sloppy goal to concede for Bournemouth. It's probably the story of the season, though. It's been their season. It's been that just wretched in the league. But every credit to them for getting here. But now they've come up against Manchester United, and now their cup dreams are in trouble, because Manchester United just look unstoppable against anyone who comes up against them. They're 9 points clear in the league, and it really just looks like a stroll of a season for Gregg Popovich, and it's going to be very interesting to see how Gregg goes forward with this squad next season, because he's defying all expectations at this point. And Pugh. Well, Coach Pop, what can you say? He's defied everyone, isn't he? Defied all expectations and surprised absolutely everybody with the way he's adapted to such a different culture in the beginning. He took it like a duck to water, though. Gregg Popovich, he had a bit of a slow time here and there with some questionable questions of his own kind of setup and the way he sets up his team, and the way he couldn't really play outside the 3-5-2. But ever since maybe a month ago, other formations are seeming to work, and that's only going to help him in the long run. As Lukaku goes down, no penalty given, advantage probably gained. Michael Carrick, his shot is blocked, no penalty given. Look, the foul on Lukaku, to me, probably Manchester United should be having a penalty. Overall, Manchester United just seemed the better equipped to deal with a fixture like this. Here's Pogba. Oh, it's at the post from Paul Pogba. Tremendous shot there. And just would have been expected there from Pogba. And that's the end of the first half. Job done here for Manchester United in this first half. Henrik Mkhitaryan with the goal from a corner from Pogba, and it put Manchester United ahead by the 1 goal. And considering Bournemouth's league performances, they do, like I said, deserve credit for being here. But it has been a tale of David versus Goliath for most of the game, and or the pre-game, and on the pitch it seems to be the case. Even though the scoreline there, it says 1-0 United, as for most of this season, have been in total command. United 1, Bournemouth 0. A lot this season, and I wonder if that's a reason for a lot of the goals he's conceded. It's stripped through to Lukaku. Good save by Begovic. Good save. Lukaku, a man on form, that's for sure. Stretches his leg out. Brilliant save. There's another corner. Pogba takes it. Towards Lindelof again. Paul Pogba, man of the match for Manchester United. Probably a fair result. Jermaine Defoe has scored. Bournemouth with a late surge. Jermaine Defoe. And it's almost no surprise because the man has been flying in the last season or so. Manchester United just switched off. And another clean sheet has gone for Gregg Popovich. He cannot have them in this season. He cannot buy a clean sheet for any of his goalkeepers. Joe Pierre and Sergio Romero have obviously had more now. What happened here? Lindelof. The pass isn't loose from Lindelof. It's just misplaced by a little bit. And it's kind of what Manchester United were doing at the beginning of the season. Kind of misplacing their passing and not keeping it simple. Trying to do probably a bit too much. And they pay the price. And Eddie Howe has a lifeline going into the second leg. Now, I don't think the away goal actually counts for anything, unlike the Champions League. So the score will be on aggregate, what it is on the scoreline. If it does count, then Bournemouth have the extra advantage going into the reverse fixture because they will have the away goal, which always counts as extra towards your team's total. So if that is the case, then Bournemouth are up by 2-1 technically. 90 minutes are up, we're approaching added on time. There's Aaron Henwood again. And nothing to do, has had nothing to do with football like since ever. Oh, that's a brilliant pass. Romelu Lukaku, he's away. Oh, it's surely a penalty. It's not a penalty. It is full time by the referee. No penalty given. Manchester United fans not happy with the referee. That should be a penalty. I feel so too. Well, Gregg Popovich, I mean, what more can he do? He can't really blame his goalkeeper. He can't blame his defence. It was Lindelof with kind of a loose pass. Henrik Mkhitaryan, the man of the cup competition, has got another goal for them today, but it's ended in a stalemate because Bournemouth have brought one back through the kind of revived Jermaine Defoe. And what is with David De Gea and not being able to keep clean sheets? It's definitely one of the mysteries of the season. But it's cost Manchester United a little bit tonight. As they were going to go in ahead, they now go in level. So Manchester United and Bournemouth all tied after one leg, a goal apiece. There must be a serious sense of deja vu here for Manchester United because very much soon after the home tie in the league against Burnley, now we're now at Turf Moor, and then in just over a week's time we'll be facing these two teams again when they meet in the FA Cup, as they were drawn against them in the next round. So in between their two Carabao Cup legs at Bournemouth, this is a match for Burnley today. Manchester United is currently 9 points clear at the top of the league, still wondering what is really going to be happening with any of their players. The most recent story that came out was Antonio Valencia being approached by Villarreal, and talks have broken down there. So I guess that's something Gregg Popovich is doing right. He's keeping the morale high and keeping his players kind of wanting to stay at the club, which for Manchester United can only be a good thing considering their squad this season. Tom Heaton is in goal once again for Burnley with Bradley, Long, Pawlowski and Taylor. Midfielders Guinaldo with Defoe, Cook and Brady. And Hendrick is playing behind Ashley Barnes. As far as the strike force is concerned, Andres Lindegaard making the bench once again. Gregg Popovich is making a change to his goalkeeper. Joel Pereira starts this one with Rojo Jones and Bailly in the defence. It's the preferred formation today. Lingard with Matic, Pogba, Herrera and Wilfried Zaha. And up front it's of course Martial with Romelu Lukaku and Marcus Rashford making the bench. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Well, Manchester United, their league form has been sensational. They got through the tough Christmas period And a lot of people are now saying that Gregg Popovich is pretty much making a beeline towards the league title now, because this is kind of a time in the year when Manchester United do kick it up a gear when they need to. And, well, they can take the foot off the gas a little bit, I suppose. But Gregg Popovich won't do that. He'll keep his players pushing and pushing hard. And the fact that he's losing none of his players that he wants, which is probably the whole entire squad when you think about it, it's a real good sign that Gregg Popovich, he really is doing something right in the coach position of Manchester United. None of his players want to leave, and who can blame them? They're on for a unprecedented quadruple at the moment. Obviously in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, they're 1-1 tied against Bournemouth. In the Champions League, they've got Besiktas, and they'll start the last 16 round next month. And then they're obviously in the FA Cup against Burnley next week. And then obviously clear at the top of the Premier League table. And already they're coming forward, but Martial is not able to do that. Well, Tom Heaton, I think he conceded about 1 or 2 goals in the previous fixture. I think Burnley threw themselves a lifeline. There's Brady coming forward already for Bournemouth, or Burnley rather, but no one's actually there to meet on the end of the cross. Matic. But Martial. Now Lukaku getting his way through. Good save from Tom Heaton, but Martial whips it back into the box towards Pogba. Matic. Oh, that's a good looking cross. Lukaku, what a goal! What a goal by Lukaku! Oh my word! It's a bicycle kick. Romelu Lukaku with the spectacular goal. He gives United the lead. What a great cross this is from Matic. Fantastic cross. Lukaku had 2 defenders either side of him, and he got the ball through past both of them. Spectacular overhead kick by Romelu Lukaku. Tom Heaton nowhere near that one. And we said that Tom Heaton usually has whirlies against Manchester United, but not today. He's been beaten by the spectacular. Romelu Lukaku has scored again. And Manchester United back in front, just like they were against Bournemouth. They conceded late on, but let's see how they do here. But currently now, United up by 1-0. They just keep scoring. Kicks it out, and he has a clean sheet at the end of the first half for Manchester United, and they also have the lead thanks to Romelu Lukaku's superb overhead kick for a cross from Matic. And Manchester United just looking unstoppable and really looking like champions of probably the world as the world's going on at the moment. They lead by 1-0 at Burnley and looking to be extending their lead to 12 points at least for the moment. Manchester United up by 1-0 again. They always score. No foul given against Pogba, I think that was. Here's Mkhitaryan. Mkhitaryan holds it up, puts it into the box. Is that a foul? There's Rashford, and there's Rashford again. And of course, Marcus Rashford has scored because he always scores. It's 2-0. Manchester United have a cushion and are definitely going at the top of the Premier League for the moment by 12 points. And, well, it was a whole mess in the box. There was a foul there on Marcus Rojo who'd come in. And the ball ping-ponged all over the place, and it fell to none other than Marcus Rashford, who, of course, put it in the back of the net. Because that's what Marcus Rashford has done all season. That's his 12th of the Premier League this season, unless it's an own goal. It definitely is going to Marcus Rashford. 12 goals in the Premier League, and running away with it as far as Manchester United are concerned. And that's what Gregg Popovich put him on for. Just another cushion, just in case. He sent Burnley coming forward, and he made the right move and put Marcus Rashford on the pitch, give him the ball, and he'll put it in the back of the net, and that's what he's done. So if Joel Pierre does concede in the next couple of minutes, we hope not to jinx him, but if he does, then it won't matter, because Manchester United will probably walk away with the 3 points. Breaking away here with Martial, but Taylor is actually being with the ball. It doesn't matter. Another 3 points for Manchester United and Gregg Popovich. Could he do it? You have to think he might. He's 12 points now. Obviously, results elsewhere will determine how much Manchester United will be at the end of the day. It's going to be an interesting stat line on the Spurs and Watford games in particular. But Manchester United once again doing their part with a spectacular goal from Lukaku in the first, and Marcus Rashford coming on as a substitute in the second to seal the deal. And Joel Pereira, honourable mention for him this afternoon for a well-earned clean sheet. Did he make a claim to be starting in goal more often? David De Gea conceding goals, rather unlucky ones in his when you think about it, but maybe Joel Pereira is making that case. We'll have to find out and see what it does in the future. Today, United win by 2-0 and a 12 points clear at the top, at least for now. A spectacular goal from Lukaku, that is. So let's have a look at those other scores then. And Arsenal have seemed to hit the second gear now. They've won 4-1 against Crystal Palace today, in no doubt Arsene Wenger's biggest result of the season. Brighton and Chelsea only had a 1-1 draw, holding the champions to a 1-1 draw as Antonio Conte's season just plummets into the toilet by Chelsea standards anyway. Although they are catching the top four, they're a bit far off, at least the leaders Manchester United, who of course won at 2-0 at Burnley today. Everton beating West Brom by a 0-0. Watford keep pace with Manchester United in their chase for the title. They beat Leicester by 2-1. Stoke City beating Huddersfield by a 0-0. West Ham and Bournemouth had no goals. Alright, so it's an interesting situation at the top of the table. Manchester United, my apologies for the miscount, they are actually 10 points clear of Watford at the top of the table, or they were 13 but they're now 10 with Watford's win earlier, of course. Spurs and Manchester United have a game in hand over Watford due to cup commitments, I'm supposing. So, actually, Manchester United could pull even further away. And it could be a foregone conclusion before we get to even April or even March at this point. The way Manchester United going on the red-hot form they're in, you wouldn't bet against it, would you? Southampton still in the top four, a couple points clear of Chelsea. Manchester City a further 2 points behind them in sixth. We only have 3 of the traditional top 6 in the top 6, with Manchester United running away with it at the top, Chelsea in 5th and City in 6th. Liverpool dropped to 8th, Stoke City having a stellar season of there in 7th. Everton dropped to 9th, they were riding high earlier. Leicester into 10th, Arsenal getting some breathing space between them and the relegation zone now, and they are in 11th and kicking it into another gear with their 4-1 win over Crystal Palace. West Ham 12th with Brighton 13th, and Newcastle climbing out of the relegation places momentarily. Despite Burnley's loss, they are still out of it, but unfortunately for Huddersfield, they've had probably a poor run of form to a degree. They've now dropped in it with West Brom and Bournemouth. Bournemouth now just 4 points or 5 from safety. Eddie Howe could be on for a really great escape now. Bournemouth are gaining momentum and not looking so dire anymore. Eddie Howe has switched the on switch on, and Bournemouth may just make it. If they can just continue to get the points, Bournemouth could be on for one of the greatest escapes of all time. Fingers crossed for them, they deserve it. So does Eddie Howe, of course.